Now on to a lighter and more educational note. The Hebrew language is both ancient and modern, as Jews around the world use it both for prayer and daily conversation. But other than being a revitalized ancient tongue, what about Hebrew makes it so unique? Well, here to teach us more and tell us all about their mission to teach Hebrew even during the pandemic, co-CEOs and founders of Ulpan-Or in Israel, Yoel and Orly Ganor. Thank you both so much for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
It's our pleasure to be here with you, Aaron, and I'll try to answer your question.
All right, well, let's start with the first one then. Hebrew is largely considered a holy language. Can you give us some insight about what makes Hebrew so unique and maybe a short history on the ancient language?
Okay, Aaron, do you know who was the first speaker of Hebrew?
Modern Hebrew?
Hebrew.
No.
Okay.
In general, no.
Well, God was the first speaker of Hebrew because by his spoken word, the world was created, right? Because when God said in Hebrew, Yehi Or, Vayhi Or, it means in Hebrew, let it be light. And there was light, okay? So by speaking Hebrew, God created this whole universe in just spoken Hebrew. And by the way, our institution is called Ulpan-Or. It means the study of light, okay? So this is the first creation, and we are happy to be part of it. Then, you know, if we fast forward to the event where the tablets were given, okay? So God spoke the 10 Commandments, and then he engraved those on the 2 tablets that Moses brought with him, okay? So it all was in Hebrew. Our prophets spoke Hebrew, and only in Hebrew one can understand what Adam means. You know, the name Adam of the first human being on this earth. In other languages, it doesn't mean anything, just Adam, like Joe or whatever. But only in Hebrew you can understand that Adam was created from Adama. Adama in Hebrew is earth.
There in the root.
So it's only by understanding Hebrew one can appreciate its holiness, its spiritual roots. And this is my answer to you.
All right, well, Orly, I'd like to ask you now, you know, Israel's a melting pot of many cultures and backgrounds, and the language unites Israel as one. So, you know, can you share maybe a personal connection to Hebrew?
Of course. Okay, so I grew up in a family who spoke Hebrew. But, of course, I was surrounded by 3 languages, like most Ashkenazic people, Yiddish, English, and Hebrew. English and Yiddish were languages I heard. Jewish stories were told in those languages, and I wasn't able at an early age to speak those languages. So quite from the beginning, I understood that understanding is not enough. You really need to speak in order to experience a language. Yoel has a very interesting comment on that.
Okay, I was born in Russia, okay? And during the 6-day war, when I was 11-year-old boy, with my family, we sat down in some kind of a shelter. We blocked our windows and the doors so the neighbors could not hear. What did we do? We listened to Kol Israel Lagola, the broadcast for diaspora from Israel in Russian. But sometimes before or after the broadcast in Russian, there were other languages, sure. Okay? And there was one language I could not recognize, but it was like music to my ears, okay? And it was Hebrew. So since then, my attachment to Hebrew was created.
All right, so you're teaching Hebrew through the Ulpan. What can you tell us about, you know, this mission?
Okay, so we really feel that we are on a mission. And let's say it all started when I graduated the university and I got my degree, and I was called to teach at the Ulpan of the Hebrew University. And back then, I already felt that it's a great thing to do, but there is something missing. Something that enables people to really speak fluently, to enjoy speaking Hebrew. I taught in many Ulpanim, and suddenly the 90s came, and it was the huge immigration from Russia that arrived. About 1 million people came. And I always created my own stuff. I recorded things. I felt that a language should be heard, should be kind of built in a different way than the regular Ulpanim. And then one day, 13 scientists, PhDs from Russia approached me and told me, we have a request. We want our life back. We want our academic life, our status, all the things we were used to do in Russia. But here in Israel, the options are almost closed for us. So we are thinking of either immigrating to the States, or if we won't be accepted to university, we don't really know what we'll do here in Israel. I was very young back then, and I thought, how can I take it upon my shoulders? So, but they really begged me, and they said, we have 3 weeks to get prepared for an interview. 3 weeks, it's better than
Good
1
luck.
week.
Yeah.
I sat down, and I kind of cracked the whole thing, and I prepared them in 3 weeks. I designed the whole program, and they were accepted. Today, they are all Professor Emeritus, and it's a long story, and it's fine.
They're living their lives. They're back in academia.
Yeah.
All right. Well, so I think my last question, though, is, how has your program really changed with the coronavirus? How has that impacted your business, I suppose?
At the beginning of this outbreak of Corona, it was really tough because we have actually 2 physical branches in Israel, one in Jerusalem and the other in Tel Aviv. And of course, we could not get anyone there physically. So what we thought is we should recreate ourselves and make ourselves even better than we were. Although all our original materials were online, what we wanted to do is to let all the people who wanted to study using our materials get those accessed by them. Younger people, older people, we created programs for seniors, okay? Because now even Orly's mother, who is almost 90, she's using Zoom, okay? So we realized that this population could really benefit from that. And especially people in lockdowns, in various situations where they could not leave their homes, they were able to communicate with sometimes with someone from the other end of the world. And the common language became Hebrew, okay? Because our materials enabled, let's say, one who spoke French and the other who spoke Chinese to communicate and enjoy socializing in Hebrew. So now we also created a new program for kindergartens, okay? So we now have people from age of 4 to 120, okay?
And study
Speak
with
Hebrew,
us.
study and enjoy studying Hebrew. This is our mission.
All right. Well, I mean, I think that the mission is so important. It's so amazing. And I know that just having something to unify everybody, even if it's just a language,
Exactly.
is an amazing thing. So, Orly, Yoel, thank you so much for coming in. Ulpan-Or, for everybody who wants to check it out online.
And tell us about your connection with Hebrew.
Yes.
We would love to hear your connection.
Yes.